It's hard to believe that 80 million registered voters that could have voted in the last election didn't. And you know, the sad part about it, a lot of them today see what's going on and they're still saying to themselves, well, it ain't on me,
It is on.
Welcome to Mended Men's Conversation, life lessons and legacies, where real men have real conversations. In every episode, we dive deep into the struggles, victories, and lessons that shape us as men. From mental health and fatherhood to faith, identity, and purpose. We are breaking the silence and starting the conversations that matter. Between us is over 12 years of professional experience and more than 140 years of combined life experience as fathers, sons, brothers, husbands, friends, and educators. We know that healing starts with an honest dialogue. So let's get real. Let's get ready. Let's grow together. This is Mended Men's Conversation.
Good afternoon, 3 o'clock my time. It's Mended Men, and I'm Anthony Washington.
This is Titus Garnett, live with you from the World Center capital of the world, somewhere in America. You know, Anthony, you don't mind me jumping in on the subject for today, do you?
Go right ahead.
It's just been, I have been listening to a lot of the talking heads on TV after the Supreme Court ruling regarding gerrymandering, stating pretty much to say that in order to change it, you have to prove that whatever party is making a change on a congressional district, all right, you have to prove that is racism in their judgment, okay? Now, since the Republicans are doing this, Alito, matter of fact, he set down the thoughts of that before they even let the dissenters say something, before they even showed their judgment. He already kind of laid down the thought process of the Supreme Court as to why they did what they did. What the Republicans are doing right now, going from state to state, and they're putting a hold on elections. They're also making quick changes just by voice vote, if they can do it, to change the whole congressional district. The thing that kind of gets me that also was not brought up by the Supreme Court, it may have, I'm not sure, but from what I have not heard anyone talk about it, is that normal gerrymandering was supposed to take every 10 years during the census, after the census. Now, the problem is we have too many norms and provisions that's not set in stone. So they can go in and change them anytime they feel like it when they're in power or whatever, you know. But the thing that gets me the most with what the Republicans are doing, they are going into the congressional districts in their state and they're taking the black or the minority districts that are majority. They just happen to be majority Democrats, and they're taking those districts because they're majority minority and they're just splitting them up. Now, if that's not showing racism is involved, I don't know what is.
But,
If that's not flat out racism, like the Supreme Court said, you got to show racism. I mean, what else do you want? Do you want it to change the congressional district and name the law? We just making adjustments to the niggas, you know, congressional niggas. We're going to put them out because they're going only after the black districts.
Yeah.
Where they got a minority. And this is the perfect time that our brown brothers, our Asian sisters and brothers, that these people take a look at. It affects you too, like down in Florida, in Texas. This affects you too.
Louisiana.
Right.
All
Louisiana, all around. California.
Yeah. All this, California, well, it affects them all.
Well, what I'm saying is that we are all over the place. And whenever and the majority of us are normally in the major cities. And because the populace vote there is usually larger than the rural areas, you know, they're changing that. An example, they went to Nashville and they took Nashville, which is the only major Democratic stronghold in the whole state of Tennessee, went in there and split the city up into the 3 or 4 congressional districts that surrounds it. All right. Now you tell me that's not racial. And the Supreme Court
See, the
sits back and don't have to answer for it.
thing of it is that, you have the Supreme Court backing them up. So when they come up with all this racial shit, they got the Supreme Court to approve what they're doing. And they want to
Well,
say
you
it's,
know, I mean to cut you off, bro, but basically the Supreme Court is leading the way.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're
I
not
agree.
backing them up. They're leading the way, you
Okay.
know. And
Yeah,
to me, that is more of the
open
point
the
of the
door.
spear.
They open the door for all this stuff.
Yeah. They're the point of the spear that's stabbing us, you know? So it just doesn't make any sense to me. It really
Because
doesn't.
it's always gonna boil down to a 6-3 vote.
Right, right. Now, do you see any way out of this?
Yeah, this is my thinking, because
Oh,
they
whoa, whoa,
basically,
whoa. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm going to have to sit back and really get comfortable. This is your thinking, right? Okay, here we go, folks. I'm sitting down. I'm relaxing. Shoulders are loose. There we go. All right, here you go. Go, bro.
hey, do I need to mute your side? Because I got all the controls over here. I'm just throwing that out there, okay?
I'm just trying to be consistent in our conversations. You know what I mean? Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Let's say is that this is what I'm gonna say. They counting on votes that they get, and they're also counting on that, what they're not counting on, the ones that do not vote. See, because there's a large majority of people in these states that don't vote. These are the general elections that come up.
These are the midterm, they're general elections, and they're not presidential. They're mainly congressional or gubernatorial or senatorial. It's for
And
Congress, the Senate, and
House of
governors,
Representatives. Yeah,
and
now,
municipal, you know. But go ahead.
yeah. My point is that, they also betting on that there's a large majority of people that do not vote in these types of races. What they're anticipating happen, then there's a good chance what they're looking for might happen. But I would hope that, it'd be a surprise and a lot of people that don't vote, that haven't vote. And if that's the case, that would put a shock on all of them. That a lot of people decide to really step up and make a change, make a difference, because a lot of the Republicans, they ain't counting these votes. They counting the ones that they go out there and vote. And some of them might even be low because, what Taco Man and the Republicans have been doing, their approval rating is very low. So even the ones that's regular vote for might not even go out there to vote because they don't want to give it to Democrats. They figure, well, if I don't give it to them, I just don't give it to them. I just choose not to vote. So that can happen. But, I'm hoping that, a lot of people that don't vote just step up to the plate and vote.
Well, you made a good point, and I'll comment on the ability of you making a good point later. But
I throw a cheap shot at it. Okay, no problem. I got you.
like this. I'm not trying to take it out on you. It's just comfortable doing it. But the
Okay.
point of the, no, man. But you're right, though. You're right.
When you open the door, I'm going to slide right on in.
I know. Well, you know what? You control the lock and keys today. So ain't too much I can do about it, okay? So, but the thing is that we can hope for, and we shouldn't make a big deal out of it, all right? This is between you and I and anybody that's listening or will look at the recording later, is that the Republicans may get so cocky that, like you had mentioned, that a lot of people don't vote in the midterms, all right? Which means that less vote in the midterms than they do in the presidential race. And we had over 80 million registered voters that didn't vote in the presidential race, okay? So this is an opportunity for them to get the big head where they will say, I don't need to vote because we got this locked up. You know what I mean? And then enough of them don't go out and vote. Some who normally do because they don't want the Democrats they may be so cocky about it, they don't go out to vote. They just say, oh, we got this. So they just leave it alone like it is. You know what I mean? But on the Democrat side, I don't want to hear you on the talking head show. Just shut your mouth, get your ass in the street.
True
You're
that.
not in the street. Now we've got stuff going on here in Georgia. I'm sure it is in California. We've got a governor's race going on here. We got election for judges is going on here. What gets me, it seems as though it's like 10-1 Republicans commercials on TV versus Democrats, you
Pretty
know?
much.
And I don't know what the hell do you think, because somebody's stabbing you in the back, you waiting for a good citizen to come along and say, that's not necessary. You don't need to do it. You know, fucking get off your ass and do something. Get your ass in the street. And don't talk about how you're getting back at Trump. Talk about how the Congress, the laws that Trump is getting out on you would not be effective if the Congress didn't allow it. They are allowing this. Don't get mad at Trump about his ballroom, okay? But the Congress is the one that is asking for more money than he did for the ballroom. Get on their ass about it, trying to justify it, okay? So get on about that. As a matter of fact, leave Trump's name out of it. Talk about what Congress is doing, because everything Congress does leads to Trump. And Congress is hiding behind Trump's apron, you know?
And
Because
whatever he wants, they give it to him.
yeah. And they said, well, that's the president. Everybody's mad at Trump. Trump ain't shit if he ain't got the support from Congress. All
You're
right?
right.
Right. And so you got to bring embarrassment to the Republican Party. Stop sitting back and talking about this is ordained by God. This is evil. This is wrong. This is bad. You know what? When you're full of shit, it's hard to reach out to grab the Charmin, you know? So these people, we got to get in the street and talk about the results, not about the person who's the results, who's the face of the result. You know, you get mad at Trump. One more thing. People get mad at Trump, or they get mad at the economy, and they've done this before. I've seen it in previous elections. They'll say, yeah, Congress is bad, but my congressman, he's okay. You know?
Listen, I agree with you when you say that he can't do no more than what Congress allows him to do. And whatever he wants, he got he always been quite bold for how outlandish it might be, but they have given him the green light. And when he loses that control over Congress, then you'll start seeing a lot of things change. And he's spiteful enough to do some crazy shit when he don't have control. Eventually, once he realized that, the route he goes is not working, then he decides he'll go a different route or he'll change up. But that's basically, it's just like what he's doing over there in Iraq. He's making all those threats about if they don't do this, he gonna do that. He gonna bomb all up, blow up bridges and, cities and highways. What do you do when you have to deal with a bully? You stand up to him. But like I said, he's really not the one that really do pulling the strings. Congress is pulling. Them cronies and Republicans that's in Congress, they pull on the strings. They know what he's doing and they're allowing it. When they put him on camera, the first thing they say, he's so great, he's doing this, that's what we're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do when you got somebody in position to do your bid.
Well, they didn't do that for Biden. When Biden was in his end and he was losing his ability to move, his cognitive ability was still 100 times better than Trump's was. But
Right.
because he walked old and beat up and wore out, even the Democrats dogged him.
Yeah.
The Republicans, you may get 1 out of 1,000 that'll dog Trump. But the Democrats, they was dogging him out. They weren't listening no more than Biden was listening about the economy. Now, Trump's not listening, and these Republicans are not listening. But the difference is the Republican electorate, they always giving their people a break. You know what I mean?
What you
In
mean?
other words, they'll reelect him again.
Okay, okay.
Okay, because the same crap that's going on now economically was going on in Trump's first term.
Yeah.
The prices
And
weren't going on down. The farmers was getting screwed. I mean, the guy was just, and he kept saying everything's okay, and I kept going, yeah, you're right, it's okay. He'll do us fine. Don't worry, he'll be there for us. But now, instead of you able to say, yeah, he's screwing the Democrats, hell, he's screwing everybody.
pretty much, pretty much.
Yeah.
And what's really ridiculous about it, and I don't know what it takes to bring heart to it, but you know, the DOJ, he is like his private guard dog because
Yeah, it
he
is. Yeah.
all those black Republican Democrats in Virginia. But to see the
hmm
thing of it is, he's going after them, and he really ain't got
He's
no
got
case.
nothing. He's got no
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
It's like Jim Comey. He got nothing there.
You got nothing.
So a lot of it is smoke and mirrors. Make it look like the and see, and you mentioned it before, what he has at his thing, because if you see something over and over again, or either if you hear it over and over again, a lot of times you tend to believe it. So he has media. He has those
He's
media outlets, you know, and basically when they say something, basically saying something in his thing. You know, it used to be where you can hear you get it both sides of, you know, somebody will give a objective point of this and objective point of that. And you know, it was like you get a chance to really weigh out what's going on. Now it's a one sided story, you know, and I
well,
mean
and you're
it's really
right. But they're not, you take somebody like Fox or Newsmax, a lot of times they're not giving the whole story. And then when he
no.
insults the news people, I mean, they take it. They should say, you big orange-eyed asshole. You better, you're wrong.
But you know something? When you said that, it made me remember that, you know, I was reading, I can't remember her name, but it was I don't know if she's a judge or she's one of the elected officials that's in Virginia. Fox News was there when the FBI raided the house. They was the only news that knew that this raid was gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know, and
yeah,
so that's the thing about, you know, you do something and you just really make it look bad. But you know, where it looks like you really ain't got nothing. So, you know, I'm not gonna make a big deal of it. It's like the Letitia James thing. You
right.
know, he made that big fuss about she this and she that. And then come to find they it never even made it to trial. Got kicked out.
And in the Department of Justice, the DOJ, the lawyers for the DOJ, they went to Letitia James' house, outside her house, trying to look around, and they made it look with just only one news crew out there watching it. They don't, that's the FBI work. That's the investigators' work. That ain't the lawyers for the DOJ to go out to somebody's house and look around like they're looking for stuff, looking for wrongdoing at that time, or this is the house that she, such and such, she said that was her major location and this. I mean, just really, really, really sad kind of things. And nobody calls them on it.
There's no accountability for the things he do or say. That is basically the problem. You know, they gave him he has a green light and you know, he just like he wake up in the morning and you know, no, not in the morning, in the middle of the night, thinking shit he's gonna do for the next day. Crazy shit. You know, that's just off the chain. There's no accountability. Nobody pulled that or, you know, whispering in his ear. If they are, they whispering some more bullshit in his ear.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of crazy. Now we have to. This ain't the time for us to talk in terms of
Poor
black
me.
only, huh?
No, no, I was
We
saying
can't. We got to wake up our brown brothers, and you know what? The Asians better wake up too. Now you don't hear much from them. There's some out there that are saying, "Wait a minute."
it is. It is.
No,
Let's see
because
something.
they caught on when the COVID was going on, and they were
Mhm.
blamed for COVID. Now, and we've got to put And you're right about something that you said. He is good at saying the same thing over and over and over again. And if you hear it enough, like the saying goes, if you say it enough, it becomes truth to you. All right. If you hear it enough, you'll question it and say maybe it is true after all. It's the
Yeah,
same
you
thing with
got
the election. He lost that election in 2020, and now he's trying to say he didn't do it. And the people who said he lost it, now they trying to act like, I don't know what you're talking about. When you ask him, well, you said he lost it then. They're like, I don't remember saying that. No, well, the president has the right to investigate anyway, no matter who says what. They always find a justification to let him get away or do something really stupid about it.
I say accountability, because if he can do all of this, where is it helping the people that's in they're voting for? I mean, what is he doing to make their lives better, anybody's lives better, other than the 1%?
Mm-hmm.
So if you spending your time just co-signing his sanity, what do you what good are you for? Other than serving him as a dictator, because that's just what he is,
Yeah,
you know.
that's all
And
he
then
is. He's a
he
wannabe dictator. And you had mentioned something about Iran, being over there in Iran, and he's constantly changing his tunes about Iran. Yeah, we're gonna give you, you got until Tuesday before, if you don't, we're gonna blow the shit out of you. We're gonna wipe you off the face of the earth. Monday night come, he says, all right, I'm gonna give you another 2 weeks. 2 weeks come, okay, I'm gonna give you another 2 weeks. He keeps pushing back. Now, just because he blew the shit out of you, he's expecting you to fall to your knees. Let me ask you something. I was thinking about this when I was listening to some of these talking heads talk shit on TV. And most of the talking heads people don't have to live like you and I do. They don't live day by day, week by week, month by month. Okay? So a lot of things, yeah, I like your empathy, but don't give me your fucking sympathy. Do the job that you got to do too. Now, have you ever known a bully in your life or in your school or any time when you was young? My brother, have you?
yes. Answer your question. Yeah.
Okay, right. I'm asking questions. Right. Now, if you know one thing about a bully, when a bully threatens you or scares you or gets you down on your knees, all right, every time you see him, you'll be afraid of him. Am I right?
So
Or
true.
you try to run away or you try to
Oh,
hide. Have you ever seen somebody stand up to a bully?
plenty.
Right. When somebody stands up to the bully don't fuck with them no more. But you know the worst thing that can happen to a bully is when he beats the shit out of somebody and they still stand up to him. That means no matter how he threatens him, they are not going to drop to their knees. Iran could he could throw nukes at him. Iran going to stand up. Because usually the person that stands up to the bully, even though they lose and keep coming back,
Well,
those are people who have survived other bullies in the past.
because a bully operates on. If I'm a bully, I'm gonna operate on your fear. But once I start seeing you not acting the way I want you to act, now you're in a space in my head, because I'm wondering what's going on. So I'm saying to myself, I got to step my game up even a little bit harder, put some little more
But
pressure
see,
on you.
that's the
Whatever.
point I'm making.
Okay,
A bully beats the shit out of you, but you still stand up to him. Every
right.
time he come around, you don't run. All right. And then eventually, and that's the point I'm making, eventually he's going to say, what's wrong with you? And then he's going to eventually start backing off and showing his weakness. And then other people will see this and they'll say, well, damn, here it is. You got a country with over 300 million people, beat the crap out of it, used all the armor, half the armaments up, blowing them up, bombing them, this, that, or whatever. And you know what they did? They won't even let you drive down the street no more because they blocked the street and you can't drive down the street. And you
Hey,
say, well,
hey,
you better, I'm going to come after you. You better unblock that street. You say, yeah, right. So in other words, like you said, they in his head. All right. And
mhm.
he don't know how to deal with it because he knows that no matter what he throws at them, he does not
having control.
they will always be around. It is impossible to wipe anybody off the face of the earth because we're all connected one way or another by one or another. You got Iranians in this country that may get so pissed off that man will not have a comfortable night's sleep.
Yeah. You know something, to your point, there was a news clip where his Secretary of Defense was saying that, how United States had supported his European allies and Asian allies, and now it's time for them to step up to the plate. The bottom line of it is, all those people that he was talking about sitting back there looking at him and saying, why am I jumping in this thing? This is something you started. You getting your ass kicked, and you want us to go in there and help save you. You didn't come to us when you decided to go over here and do this shit. So, you better handle your own shit. So
Yeah,
you're pointing out exactly what you're saying. Your mouth bit off more than it could chew.
right.
And
You
all
you the
those
dog that caught the car.
now listen, what me and you sitting here talking about, shit, we everyday people. We get up, we do what we got to do. We got to deal with
Yeah.
this shit. We
Mm-hmm.
don't allow it to stop us from living our lives, the best life that we can live. But if me and you can sit here and talk about what we see, don't you think all these other countries see the same shit?
They see it.
All
Whoa,
of 'em.
heck yeah.
And
The-
what's crazy about all of them sitting back there and they laughing at us. And I don't blame them. They should be, because what he did, he showed, it's like playing poker, and what you do is you show your hand. Everybody know
yeah,
what you know. I mean, this is stupid part of it. And I'm gonna say stupid, asinine, is that the shit that they're attempting to do to take a country backwards just so you can feel like you have mentally and emotionally, physically control over another human being, because the power you thought you had, you were losing. You're losing.
yeah.
So I want to do everything in my power to make it so you be so frustrated and, put your head in the sand. People tired of that. The shit that they've been doing is uh is worn out. It's worn out. It's worn out. Because it's obvious what they do. And this is all they know. They don't know how to sit down and talk to you like another human being and accept, they're wrong.
They
Mm.
can't. It's too late for that. You know what's. You don't
I wouldn't
hear
say
anybody bring.
it's
No, no,
not
no.
too
Here's
late.
let.
They're not
eh,
man or woman enough. They don't have the balls to own their own bullshit. That's
Okay.
that's
Here's the point I'm making or backing up about that, and I understand exactly what you're saying. One of the things I don't hear people talking about regarding Taco Man is that the thing that's got grabbing him by the balls is his pride. His pride is at stake here. He went into there and he kicked the living crap out of them, and they're still standing up to him. It is impossible or difficult for him to come in and say, okay, let's sit down and talk about it. All right,
well,
and we'll come out. Hold on. Let me finish.
okay.
Okay. That's what's not hurting his pride. He'll sit down and try to get the results he's want. His pride is hurt because of Obama, because they keep bringing up the JPOIC or whatever it was, the deal that Obama made. Everything that he's trying to come up with is either almost the same or less than what Obama got. That is kicking him in the ass. That's where his pride hurts him. And plus, it took Obama and him a couple of years to do it, but he wants to get it done overnight to say, look what I did in months or weeks that it took Obama years to do, and we got you a better deal. But then what hurts is, look what I did in 2 weeks, and you got the same deal. So the question is, what have you done for me lately, Taco Man? All you did was start a war, and you put us back where we were before, but now you made it worse because Iran knows that they can close the Strait of Hormuz anytime they feel like it. And before then, it was never closed.
You saying that just made me think that's some hell of a shit that I got to go to sleep or wake up every day and think about the shit that you've done, and how people praise you. And in my head, I'm thinking, how can I overdo you? How can I outdo you? So let me
Yeah.
first of all, let me tear down everything that you created, and then let me build it back up again, just to make it look like I done something. Now, I don't think he has enough how can I put it, common sense to really do something on his own. So he can say when his time is up, people could say, well, he did this. He honestly created this or did that. I can't say anything he done that, yes, I can.
Look
When
out.
say that again.
Look out. I want to hear this. When you find out that he did.
People gonna say, that is the worst fucking president we ever seen. The most illiterate president. He's
Yeah.
the total asshole. I mean,
Yeah.
he's sitting up here getting into arguments with the Pope. This man have a voice his opinion. He ain't gotta like it. My thing of it is, if me and you disagree on something out of anything, I owe you respect.
Yeah.
But that's a sign of a mature an adult. When I get to the
Yeah.
point where you disagree with what I say and then I take it personal, I'm acting immature. That's what's in the White House now. A kid. I mean,
He's a child. He's a child. Let's understand something too here. Once again, pride is at stake. All right. The first pope that was ever an American and from Chicago. All right, of all places, is the first pope. All right. He can't be proud enough to say the first American pope. He's got to get jealous because of the attention the pope gets. Now, you tell
and
me
he and
that isn't a foolish,
he don't
foolish,
agree.
foolish man, huh? And you're
And
going to
and
argue with him. And what makes it even worse, now, I was raised Catholic, all right? And Catholic schools give you a good education. And in one way, they may give you a good education. They taught you how to research. They taught you how to look things up, okay? And the first thing we looked up was the negativity about our church, okay? So the Catholic Church has got a lot of black marks against them over the centuries that they've been around, okay? Now, one thing, they're trying to clean up their act. I know it's difficult, but they're trying to clean it up. But to go out and not be proud that the first pope is American, which nobody saw coming. Nobody saw this coming. And then you're going to sit up there and lie on the man? Yeah, he wants Iran to have nukes. That man ain't said shit about Iran having no nukes. He said, I'm against all types of war. So that shows you his
jelly.
his silly pride. He's like
9 years.
He's like a little bitch. You know, he's like a little bitch where you said, boy, what a stupid little bitch. You so sad. I can't even I just want to walk away from you, because you will never understand. He cannot possibly understand. And the people in this country, when are they going to realize that this man
Is
is
it any?
really a child? He's about as educated as a deck of cards missing 50 cards, He's, he's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. They need half a
He's
book.
less than half a deck, okay?
Why you got 52 cards in the deck? It's just
I know, but the 2 cards that's left in the deck are jokers. So he really think he got something there, all right? But the thing of it is, while you keep supporting not just pride, not just insecurity, but you're also supporting stupidity, ignorance, and not even the effort to better himself or others, all right? It's sad. And I
it is.
and I get tired of watching these black Republicans coming up with excuses for him that are worse than the worst house nigga in slavery time. They just like, this is a man who and they talk. Here's what insulting. They talk so educated about how he is so stupid. You know, they
Because you
talk
can't say
educated to support his stupidity. It's shameful, shameful. That's a waste of education. That's a waste of knowledge.
we have gotten where people can criticize me and I don't have to come out. You know,
Right,
I can
right.
sit down and honest conversation with somebody. You know, all that is just blown out the window. The governor of Louisiana, governor of Texas, mostly all them southern states. That's basically what it is. They have created a way where you justify their own bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what's sad? It's sad that this is one of the most, this is one of the richest countries in the world. And what they're doing is so
It's way backwards. Like you mentioned earlier, China's looking, Europe is looking, Russia's looking. There was a report on the news again yesterday about Russia helping Iran blow up or attack American ships and sailors and soldiers with their missiles. They had a couple of missiles trying to shoot at the American ships yesterday. Russia is giving them satellite intel. You know, Iran ain't got no damn satellites in the sky. Excuse me. And for all you know, China may be doing it too. But they see the weakness in America. Russia, and I can see Russia doing it because Russia exposed their weakness in the war with Ukraine. No way a country with 200 million plus people with nuclear weapons are in a 4-year stalemate with a country with only 10 to maybe 20 million people. And half those people have left the country because they were women and children. All right. And Ukraine has come up and has got the drone technology down pat. And they told Russia, you know, Russia, this is the first year, I think, since the beginning when Russia used what they had called May Day. You ever heard what's called May Day? That's when they have their big military parade in May. Okay. This is the first year that they didn't have a May Day parade because they were scared they were going to be attacked by the drones. And there was no way, you know, you're going to have that. And plus, you probably ain't got the weapons to have going down the street in the first place, you know. And you think the United States would take some of that technology from Ukraine when it was offered to them? No. What they did, they went to a company and gave them a $24 million or $1 billion contract to the companies that his sons were invested in. So come on, you got to be careful. Another thing, real quick, you still get on social media, right? Do you get on Facebook and places like that?
Yeah.
Do you ever see how many cartoons or animated or AI stuff on? Hold on, AI stuff on Trump? You know where most of that's coming from? Iran.
Yes.
Iran is doing it. Now, they got time to poke the fucking bear after the bear, they'll scratch them up, claw them, chew them, and they still get up and they poking the fucking bear. You know
Pretty much.
why? Because one thing they know nobody's talking about. Well, it's more than one thing. There has not been a war America has won since World War II. Don't count Grenada. Grenada was just a weekend training session. All
Yeah, that's
right.
all.
You can't talk Venezuela because they said that was a police action. Now he's trying to say Iran is not a war. It's a war. All right. And once again, and that's why I come up with the idea that there's no way you're going to blow anybody off the face of the earth, because even if you try to blow up the earth, the only thing you could do is kill everybody on it, but the earth will heal itself, pretty much heal itself, where we'll be gone. Whatever happened to the realization that all of us here, we ain't going nowhere? Where we gonna go? Where
Can't
we
go to the
gonna
moon.
go? You
Can't.
ain't gonna go to the moon, huh?
Maybe.
You can't go to Mars. Do you know what it takes to go to Mars? I was listening to a scientist talk about the fuel that you would need to not just take you to Mars, but to bring you back would be almost impossible to carry. So what you would need to do is get you fuel to get there and then create fuel out of what's on Mars to get you back. So now you got to have the equipment and the technology to do it.
Yeah.
All right. But then you got to be able to live there. And then it takes you, what, 3 years to get there? Or was it 9 months maybe? I don't know. Maybe 9 months to get there, something like that. You know, because it takes you, what, a few days to get to the moon? So
Yeah, I know
Mars
we
is
don't
what, 200
technology to,
miles? Huh?
we don't have the technology to get there and come back.
No, we don't. And not counting out anything, accidents or anything might happen when you get there, because space is not empty. One of the biggest problems when you leave Earth is not meteors hitting you. Yeah, there's fine meteors and stuff out there, but you got to worry about the radiation, because that's off the chain rough. Anyway, I don't want to get into the heavy science stuff. I like that kind of stuff, you know. But we be talking about, well, we're going to go light speed. Yeah, you're going to go light speed. You could send a spaceship, the solar system, or even let's just say to Mars, and you can get information back from them that is clearer than the reception you and I are getting right now. And we just cross country. You have
Listen,
trouble listening on your phone across the street.
they just went to the moon and came back.
Yeah,
They got to a certain spot where they lost all communication.
that's right. That's
So they
right. For
thought,
what, 4 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes or something like that. You're right.
no, I think it was like
You're
5 minutes.
right.
I'm not too
Was it
sure how long.
5 minutes or something?
They,
Yeah,
that's something they have no knowledge of how
right.
to deal with that. So we talk about that, and I just see how ridiculous it is, how we spend money on wars and elections, trying to rig elections. There's a lot of other things that we could take the money and the time and energy and do something positive about. Things do change. I mean, that's one of the things that we have no control over. It's change. And, I sit back and I be amazed at how I read in the news and hear on social media how, you have politicians, people with money, powerful people trying to control something they cannot control.
Well, it's that need for power.
But that's not real power. That's not real
That's
power.
not the point. To them, it's more than what you got. Seriously, it doesn't make sense that
Uh,
it's more than what you got.
Materialistic, yes.
No, more than that. Remember, you and I had a conversation about your job, and you had this one manager and how she was acting. It
Right.
wasn't materialistic with you. It was the idea that she had a certain amount of authority over you, that she felt that she could talk to you any certain way she wanted to. That's that kind of mentality people think. That's
Yeah.
when Trump tells a woman reporter, "Shut up, piggy," or he says, "You know what? You are a lousy reporter. I've never seen you smile. You always," the way he insults people, and it's that type of power that's authoritative and control. These people, listen, the people who hang around him got way more money than he does,
True.
but they're kissing his ring because they can get extra from him.
It's really sad that we support bullies and when
Yeah, you're right.
they're wrong. Right out in the public, we support it. And, we can come up with some hellacious shit to justify what they say or do, and know they're wrong and do it with a smile on their face.
We used to be bully busters as a country. We left England, say the United States, and white folks, because of King George, right? He was a bully to the people here in this country, the pilgrims, the pioneers, whatever that, England, all right?
Hmm.
The way we looked at China or Russia, or the way we looked at authoritarians as bullies. We were bully busters. But the reason why we can be a bully now to other countries, because we used to being bullies in our own country.
It's like having a father, and he's abusive, and you see that, and it's wrong, but you learn to do the same things. You grow up and you learn to justify that insanity. You even write laws for that insanity, so you could feel better about doing it.
Here's how the father does it. When the father is abusive to your mother, you'll fight him like a dog, and you want to protect your mother. But then you become an abuser to your woman, all right? Because there's a difference between your mother and your woman. You making a difference there. So you justify, well, this ain't my mom. This is my woman. This is just another woman. My mom is different. And
Somebody
we look at the same shit here, Yeah, we don't like the way you treated. We don't like the way Iran is treating the other world, but we could shit on our people, but we don't want Iran to possibly. And the thing about we don't want Iran to have nukes. The only reason Iran came close to nukes is because you busted the treaty that we had, Obama's treaty, and that's what's hurting you so bad because you got rid of Obama's treaty and you said this is a bullshit treaty. It's no good, and plus we're shipping boatloads of billions of dollars to Iran. That was their money we held up from them in our banks. But now there was no enrichment. The enrichment on the uranium during that treaty could not be more than 3.7%. 3.7%, just enough to run like electricity or this or that or whatever. But when you busted the treaty, then Iran got the enrichment up now to 60%, which means they're right around the corner from having a nuclear bomb. Now, here's the thing. You don't need to have enriched uranium in order to have a nuclear bomb, because our first nuclear bomb that we sent up put on Japan, Nagasaki, and Hiroshima, those were atomic bombs. Those weren't hydrogen bombs, but you still had a nuclear
capability.
Capability, right? So he allowed Iran to get up to 60%, and he act like, oh, no, we can't allow them to have it. You allowed them to have it. You caused this shit, but
That's
they
the
won't
reason.
address it.
I listened to a brother, and I really respect what he said because he said education is elevation.
Yeah,
Because once you educate yourself, you can no longer go down that dark street no more because you know
yeah.
better. And if you know better, and I can't believe, well, I can't say I can't believe, but it's sad that you have so many people that's in power that actually live like that.
But you
Don't
know what
want
they're doing, Anthony? They can't stop you from education because education is knowledge and knowledge is understanding. Okay? What they're denying you is information. They don't want you information. That's what you need to know. So they deny that. And they'll make up any kind of lie to deny you information, the true information, not just made up lie information. But there are people out there who don't want true information. They want the lie to justify the way they feel.
yeah.
And when you tell them the truth, they deflect it or they jump to another subject matter or any way around it instead of accepting it. Here's what I wanted to say earlier, and since we're near the end of the show, I'm going to say it now. We got to go back out there and we got to take back what they took from us. Some of the things they take from us is things that we say that is an awakening. Okay, you see in the kind, remember we used to do the Black Power Fist? They took that, and Trump's even doing it now, doing this shit. You orange ass motherfucker, that wasn't meant for you, for to give you power, you taco eating some bitch. All right? He even took that, okay? But I'll shorten it up even more now. The word woke. Fuck that. They took the word woke and they changed it into a negative. Now we need to say, we want our word back. We want it back. And instead of just saying woke, we're going to say awaken. Wake up, you motherfuckers. Awaken. All right? So woke is not what you said. It's for me, it's for you to wake up. See what's going on around you. All right? Don't let
Nah,
somebody piss on your shoe and tell you it's raining and your ass looks up. All right? Damn. Wake up,
Pretty
motherfucker. You know?
that
Forgive
too.
me, my brother. Forgive me.
So it's okay.
Power to the people.
But you know something? Ain't nothing
Well,
wrong with
man.
it. Ain't nothing wrong with
Yeah.
it. But that's the part that, they can't take away. They can't take away your
Right.
spirit.
Right.
Bullshit they do, you see through it. And all you can do is just smile and say, okay, well, that's your shit, not my shit. I'm gonna be over here. When you want to really have a conversation with me, call a brother. Other than that, fuck you. I'm out.
Yep. I mean, we just having conversation, when you have conversation with somebody, and we talked about this before about elections. When a man says, or somebody says, "No, I ain't gonna vote because it's gonna be the same old shit anyway." Well, it's the same old shit. It's because you don't vote. It's hard to believe that 80 million registered voters that could have voted in the last election didn't. And the sad part about it, a lot of them today see what's going on and they're still saying to themselves, well, it ain't on me,
It is on you. You got four
but
cops.
they say it ain't on me because they said my one vote. Well, 80 million of you guys took that one vote and you stuck it up your ass and put your head in the sand and say, it ain't on me. Yeah, it is on you.
It is on you because then if you do vote, then shit could probably be a whole lot different than it is right now.
Right.
So
Right.
that
A
shit
whole
won't
lot.
change. Well, it won't change because you have that same stinking thinking. It will change when you change how you think. Because when I change how I think, I change what I do.
Right. You're right. And when people used to be back in the 60s and 70s and stuff going up and they say power to the people got scared with that when you said that. But it's the truth. The power is
And
you.
there's
The
nothing wrong
power
with
is you.
it. Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. The power is you. But when they see a black folks doing it, they think violence. Nobody's more violent than you white motherfuckers that you did back in the day. And once again, you're showing your ugly side again.
No, back in history, period. Their
Period.
history
Right.
is
Right.
is monumented with violence. They see something,
Yeah.
they're gonna take it. So if I'm taking it, and whatever I need to do to take it, I'm gonna do it because it's conquest. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what they call it, helping civilize people that been living a certain life and doing all right for themselves. So
Mm-hmm.
I could come and say the way I live is more civilized than the way you live. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. Because we ain't seem like we had no problem over here till your ass came over here and talked that old shit that we need to be reset. No, you don't need that.
There's I'm glad you brought that up. There's a politician here running for governor, and he in his commercial he says, I don't care if you Muslim or this or that or whatever, I will not allow you to come here and force your culture on us. I will not allow it. Motherfucker, who forced whose culture on who? Duh. And where's the backlash from the Democratic Party or anybody saying, did you hear this guy? Who pushed whose culture on who?
Are you serious?
Yeah,
You
that's in
black or
his
white?
commercial. I don't care if you, I think not, as he might have said Muslim, or he said, he named different ethnic people, and he says, I don't care, and I will not allow you to come here and push your culture on us.
He white.
What? Yeah, running for
Okay.
governor. Put your culture
Georgia,
on us. Huh?
Georgia,
In
Georgia.
Georgia, of Georgia, yeah. Push your culture on us. Who the hell put whose culture on who? You
I know
motherfuckers
we.
wouldn't have,
I
you couldn't
know
live
we
the first couple of winters without people helping you do it.
over, but I just need to see a face of who you talking about. I got to.
His name is Jackson.
That's some crazy shit. That's Georgia.
He's a Republican running for the governor of Georgia. And he's talking about, I will send back illegal aliens. and this and that. And one of his competitors put out there, oh, yeah, you got busted for having illegal aliens work in your mansion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they come up and just lie straight to your face, and you supposed to believe that shit? Crazy, man. Really crazy.
For the state of Georgia. And you said his name is
His last name is Jackson. You find the candidates for the governor of the state of Georgia?
Jackson,
Yeah.
Rick Jackson.
What's it say?
Rick Jackson.
Yeah, that's him. That's that son, bitch. He looked like something out of 1950, a 1950 race war or something. Took his hood off. And he got
Mm-hmm.
that frown on his face. And he talks about how he was raised in an orphanage and how he fought his way back to the top and all this and that. You know, fuck you.
A Republican. Yeah. He looked like he just took his hood off.
Yeah, he do. He do, you know. But that man, I tell you,
This type of shit that, you know, they feel entitlement to, you know,
right.
just to assume I have power over another human being. I can treat another human being any way I want to because I'm white.
Right. But see, the same thing is happening like we had conversation in the past about Kamala. And when she was running for president and they was putting commercials out there that was just bold-faced lies on her, and the Democratic Party did little to nothing to counteract them or to say anything about it. And it's the same thing about this guy here. These Republicans, they feel emboldened to lie straight to your face.
Hey, they've
And
been
there's
doing it.
nobody there to, you
They
know,
for centuries. They've been doing it for centuries. You
yeah, and
notice,
they,
you know, we talk about the Republicans and how bold they are about what they want to do. I'm gonna say this much: some of these old Democrats ain't no difference because
no,
when
they
you
not.
don't do nothing, you know, you kind of like justifying you okay in they bullshit.
Anyway, they just ain't, it's like they're waiting for 3 days before the election before they come out and, yeah, we're going to get them some bitches. We're going to get them Republicans. You know what? One thing, we got to stop. The polls and the surveys and stuff are showing that people are really, really pissed off with Trump, pissed off with the Republican Party. And they was doing an interview with some people, and they were saying that, well, what about the Democrat? They said, well, the Democrats ain't doing anything. They
Pretty much.
silent, they quiet, they just sitting there. We know the Republicans, you know, the congressional and all this and that, they're fucking us. But the Democrats, they just ain't doing nothing. They just
I want to say this.
lackadaisical.
I want to say this before we check out.
Okay.
There's a lot of Democrats that I have faith in,
Yeah.
and the majority of them are some young Democrats.
And
You know,
you're right.
some of the older Democrats have been around for eons. You know,
Yeah.
we're no different than some of the Republicans. The only
They need to
difference
back down.
is that they didn't take their masks off, their hood off. That's what I see.
Yeah. But some of them just don't even have the pull no more. When they say, what do you think about Chuck Schumer? They say, no respect. They had 1,000 times more respect for Pelosi because Pelosi didn't take no shit. Schumer sounds like your old dead ass uncle who would say, well, I'm the oldest, so I think we are. Hell, give a fuck about you. Let some of this young blood in and get them going. And there's a
Yeah.
couple of young brothers in Tennessee that they're pretty sharp. Pretty
Louisiana too.
sharp. Yeah. Yeah.
Louisiana.
Right. So we get that. But anyway, this,
Yeah,
once again, time goes by too fast.
you do.
And,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to give you a compliment. Everybody who's watching, if you see this or whatever, and you know, I'm always giving
Let me
Anthony
break
a lot of
myself.
compliments. But anyway, he said something today. I mean, it was just, I can't remember what it was, but I guess because I was so shocked, he was on point. But he did excellent. He was excellent. Anthony, way to go, my brother, my blackest brother.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know what, but I think Coming from you, I better take it and run.
You better not, boy, you better record it and seal that son bitch up. Put it in the archives, my brother.
Oh boy, it was fun.
All right, man. It was. It was. I appreciate you, Anthony. I really do.
Same
And
here.
once again, this is Mended Men. This is not a therapy session. We are just having conversation. And if you can't handle it, learn how to.
There you go. All right, keep it
This is
moving.
Titus Garnett,
And I'm Anthony Washington.
and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, he's out.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Mended Men's Conversation. If something we shared resonates with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs it. Remember, healing is a journey, and you don't have to walk it alone. Stay connected with us, subscribe to the podcast, and join the conversation online. Until next time, keep growing, keep healing, and keep building your legacy.